Hello, I'm Gareth Vaughan from interest.co.nz and I'm here with another one of our double shot interviews, and today we're talking to Vivek Veram, the Managing Director for Coffee and Dairy Products at Olam International. Now Vivek, you've got a takeover bid for New Zealand Farming Systems Uruguay. Obviously you've been a shareholder there with about 18%, I think it is, for the past year. So why have you come out with this offer now, and what are you ultimately hoping to achieve?
We first looked at this company sometime before we made the initial investment and had been tracking it. This company has been interesting to us because Olam's strategy is to invest in upstream assets in some of the products that we deal in selected geographies, especially in those countries which have a cost of production advantage. So Uruguay really falls into that bracket, and that is why we started tracking this company. We invested in it about a year ago, and since then we've had a chance to spend some time with the company. We've spent some time on the ground in Uruguay. We've done a fair amount of work, but we've been disappointed by the continuous underperformance of the company over the past 1 year, as well as prior to that. And we believed, and after a few rounds of discussion with the board, we felt that we would like to take on a controlling stake in the company to be able to really improve the performance of the company.
So where do you think they've gone wrong? Because clearly you think it's a good concept.
Yes, we firmly believe that it's a good idea, it's a good concept, but we believe there have been a lot of execution issues, and I believe there have been a few strategic issues in terms of some of the decisions that have been taken. I think the first area where the company has erred is really in terms of it was a new concept which was being tried out in a new geography, and I think the company was too aggressive in terms of land acquisition when they went in. So they had planned to acquire, I think initially about 24,000 hectares. They actually landed up acquiring close to 36,000 hectares, with the result that they kind of ran out of funding and didn't have enough money to take the project to completion. So I think that's one area where, in hindsight at least, we feel that a little bit of more of conservatism would have probably helped the company. Secondly, in terms of operations, we believe there are two areas which we would like to review. The first is really about the operating model. The idea was to transplant the New Zealand intensive pasture-based dairying system into Uruguay. But the fact is that Uruguay is not New Zealand. It's got a slightly different climate. It's in a different latitude zone, and we have had access to some data across multiple geographies, multiple countries, which are in a similar latitude zone and similar climatic conditions as Uruguay. And we believe that while the model is right, but it has to be adapted to Uruguay conditions. And I think that's one thing that the company has not done. They have tried to transplant exactly the model from New Zealand into Uruguay, and that's why the results have not been so satisfying. We believe that to succeed in dairying in that latitude and under those slightly more tropical conditions vis-a-vis New Zealand, there has to be significant amount of supplemental feed. So it's still a pasture-based system, but there has to be much more supplemental feed than what you would require in New Zealand, which basically means that costs are definitely going to be higher. And if you do not implement a hybrid system, more supplemental feed, then you are not likely to get the results that you are looking for. And because of that, we believe that the forecasts issued by the company are extremely ambitious, and we are not at all confident of those forecasts being achievable, even in the long run.
Now, you've got, Olam's got some other operations in South America, I understand?
Yes.
Would you look to perhaps use those to help New Zealand Farming Systems Uruguay achieve its aims?
We do not have any operations in Uruguay, but we have significant experience in South America. We are very large in Brazil. We have coffee operations, cotton operations, cashew operations in Brazil. We have a large farming operation in Argentina where we farm soya and peanuts. We have operations across Central America, in Peru, in Honduras, in Colombia, in Mexico. So we are pretty familiar with the territory and know the continent quite well. I'm not sure whether all of those, whether we'll directly be able to help New Zealand Farming Systems, but I believe that our contextual knowledge will definitely aid in our being able to turn the company around.
Now, I mean, obviously it's a business that does need money to complete its business plan, I think about $60 million US. Should your takeover offer succeed, and you get at least the 50% level, how will you go about organising that?
The company has stated that they require another $60 million to take the project to completion, and we are very clear that we will support the company in whatever form is required to take the project to completion. So it is quite likely that if we take over the company, we will have a full review of the balance investments that are required, but it is possible that there, as the company states, that there could be a capital call, and if it is, then it is likely to be on a pro rata basis, and we will definitely be willing to support the company in any way possible.
And in terms of your offer, it's obviously conditional on getting just over the 50% mark. Would you be happy just with that, or do you want 100%?
No, we are happy with 50.1%, or we are happy to up to 100%. The reason why we have given a full takeover offer is basically it provides much more choice to investors. A partial offer, in a partial offer, there is no real certainty for investors who are selling out as to what they will be able to get. We wanted to provide full choice to investors should they choose to continue, or should they choose to exit, or indeed partake in the offer in a partial manner.
Now, obviously, Olam's also got 25% stake in Open Country Cheese. The company, more broadly, is very acquisitive around the world. What sort of areas is Olam looking at in terms of when it's looking at acquisitions, and how are you funding the deals?
We are looking at we had as you know, Olam is a public company, and there's a lot of information available on our website in terms of what the strategy of the company is. We have made a fair amount of acquisitions in the recent past, including in spices and dehydrates, in tomato paste, in almond orchards in Australia. And we are continuing to look for value opportunities which are synergistic with our business and which are on strategy as per our strategic plan. We are looking at selective upstream assets, like I said, in those countries which offer cost of production advantage.
And I suppose New Zealand is one of those countries?
In dairying, New Zealand is one of those countries, but it is not really, would not be our immediate objective. We believe there are other countries where cost of production could be lower than New Zealand.
Okay. In dairy?
In dairy, especially the investment costs in New Zealand are definitely far higher than some of the other countries that we have investigated.
And I guess Uruguay is one of them?
Uruguay is one of them.
Okay, well look, I appreciate your time today.